All right, so let's forget the architect example. A better example would be a statue, a sculpture. Um, the material cause, to use the Aristotelian terminology, the material cause of the statue is uh, the material that the statue is made out of. The statue of David, for example, is made out of quartz. I'm guessing. So the material cause of that, the quartz, is simultaneous with the effect, the statue. So causation can be simultaneous with affectation, effect. The cause and the effect can be simultaneous. Now, the second aspect of bringing up causation as a problem for the cosmological argument, Paulos appeals to David Hume, who had a few things to say, as you know, about causation. As Bertrand Russell put it in Why I'm Not a Christian, causation is not nearly anything like it used to be. But again, this is viewing all causation as physical causation. It takes time to move this bottle from here to over here. That's physical causation, but not all causation is physical causation. Um, Now I'm opening up the book, Irreligion. Let's see here. I want to get the exact wording here of how he puts it. Um, Cause is a much less sturdy notion. Let's see. Every time we drop the rock, it's fallen. Since it's quite easy to imagine our dropping of the rock not being followed by its falling, however, the connection between cause and effect cannot be a logically necessary connection. The link between an event and its causes is contingent and rather squishy. Now let's stop there. If causation is contingent, what does that imply? That implies that there has to be some kind of necessary um, if there's such a thing as contingency, there has to be such a thing as necessity, and this all men call God. So Paulos is admitting right here, by implication, unwittingly, that there is a God. All right, and then it says the link between an event and its causes is contingent and rather squishy. We can't move as confidently from an event to its causes as we might believe. Causes are discoverable by experience and not by armchair a priori reasoning, making cause much less sturdy a notion than the first cause argument presupposes. But this is talking about physical causation. Okay, there's other types of causation. There's material causation, like in the statue. There's ideological causation. The theorem, the truths of logic, is what causes theorems of mathematics to be true. But that's not physical or temporal at all. All right, so that's um, Hume was right to point out that it's difficult to perceive a cause with certainty. For example, if a pool ball, a billiard ball, the cue ball hits another ball, and then that ball moves, well, the second ball moving is followed in time by the first ball moving, but it's hard to say that we know with absolute mathematical certainty that it was the cue ball that caused the other ball to move. That's true, but we can know in some cases a priori that cause A is the cause of effect B. So if the world was designed, what was caused to be by something, then we know that that something must exist. Okay, it's undeniable, it's inescapable. And then he brings up quantum mechanics. But quantum mechanics, according to Paulos, are uh, causation within quantum mechanics is probabilistic. Well, if it's probabilistic, then it's not non-existent. Um, and he talks about various different models of cosmology besides the standard Big Bang model. Well, quantum indeterminacy, that is not things beginning to be for no reason at all. We may not know what the reason is. We may be able to come up with some probability of a certain cause producing a certain effect before the fact, but that doesn't mean because we don't know what the cause is, or the cause is probabilistic, that doesn't mean that there is no cause at all. So the fact that we observe the universe as an effect, from that it's undeniable that the universe has there's some kind of causal agent that is necessary to produce this effect. You can't have an effect. You cannot have an effect without a cause. And this cause is God. What we mean by the term God. And I think he also says, Apollos also says, as kind of a fourth objection, that the uncaused first cause doesn't have to be the God of the Bible. Well, I don't understand why people keep making that observation. The argument, the cosmological argument, is not intended to prove the God of the Bible. Just like the Pythagorean theorem and the proof of the Pythagorean theorem is not intended to prove all of Euclidean geometry. Rome wasn't built in a day. If we prove some kind of being that transcends, that created the world, that transcends space and time, that has to be what. There's no other word for that than God. Okay, so you cannot be an atheist, like Apollos says he is. You cannot be an atheist if you accept some type of minimal transcendent being. And as time goes on, as the argument develops, as other arguments are added to it, we can say that this being is not just a minimal God or a deistic God, but Jesus Christ or Yahweh or the God of the Bible. So the argument, it doesn't have to prove everything in one fell swoop. That's no demerit against the argument that it doesn't prove everything about theology. So it may be a true observation that this God is not necessarily the God of the Bible, but it's irrelevant because it was never intended to prove that in the first place. It was intended to prove that atheism is false, that there is a divine being, period. And the divine being is the creator of the cosmos, period. Alright, so we'll look next at the teleological argument and then the ontological argument. I should mention, just in passing, that Apollos next in chapter 1, I guess it is, moves from the cosmological argument to the argument of God as a lawgiver, not a moral law, but the laws of science. And he has some things to say about that. I'm not going to deal with that here. You can't address everything in a book, so I'm going to leave that out. But it's not necessarily very hard to respond to or very compelling either. But just if you happen to read the book yourself, you'll notice that I'm skipping over that. Alright, so the teleological argument, there's two forms. One is biological order. The other is more from the anthropic principle. But we'll get to that in video number 3. Thank you.